I recently did an episode of Remember the 90s for the DOD Grunge pedal from the 90s. And after posting that video, I was contacted by a gentleman named John Williams, and I can only imagine that he smells of rich mahogany and has fine judge and taste in highly refined and old whiskey. He said, "Hey, that grunge pedal, I have the amp version," to which I replied, "There's no amp of that." And he goes, no, really, I have an amp. It says grunge on it, it's a DOD amp. It's a DOD brand. You can have it if you want it. So here it is. Now, I had never heard of the DOD Grunge. I do remember DOD for a very, very short time making an amplifier line consisting of what I remember the Juicer, I believe it was called, and possibly one called the Grinder, the DOD Grinder. Those were slightly larger combo amps, and they used 12-inch speakers. This is an 8-inch speakers, but what's interesting is the production date is July 97, and the manual is dated May of 97. And what's interesting about this actual amp is the warranty card is still in the back of it. Just amazing. Now, I've been doing some research on the DOD Grunge amps specifically, and I can find no evidence that these were made past September or October of 1997. There are some old Reverb listings and some old eBay listings, and on all of the listings, when they show the back, if they show the back, the panel has a date sticker, and I didn't find anything past October 97. So these were really around for literally 6 months, and then they were discontinued. I was around back then, and I was a huge DOD fan, and I have never heard of the DOD Grunge amplifier. So let's see how this thing sounds. Now, since this is Remember the 90s, I will be using my 1990 Bernie Les Paul Custom. We will first start on the clean channel, and then we will go to the grunge channel. The EQ is at noon. I am mic'd up with the Sennheiser E906 straight into my computer. Here we go. Now, I'm not gonna mess with the EQ for the clean channel because I wanna get to the grunge channel. It's something else. Now the EQ is still at noon. I'm gonna turn the grunge, the distortion, up, and I expect this guitar to start squealing a little bit with this pickup. Let's go to the grunge almost all the way off. It needs more gain. Now, what I find most interesting about this amplifier is this is completely US made in Utah in 1997. For all intents and purposes, It's basically a crate from what I can gather. The speaker looks exactly like the crate I used to have at that time. The controls, I mean, everything is very crate-ish, cosmetically at least. And I can't help but think DOD was outsourcing a lot of the amp parts from bigger amp companies like Crate. This is pre-Digitech DOD amp in a small, grungy package. It's okay. Now, when I was searching the internet, I found these all sorts of price ranges. One went on Goodwill for $22, but another one sold on Reverb for $200. So I don't know if they're actually worth anything, but they are certainly rare. From what I can gather, these were made for about 6 months tops. These absolutely bombed in the guitar market. So if you do find one and it works, pick it up. You will have yourself a piece of 90s history. All the Pigment links down below in the description. You've been wonderful. I have been Fluff. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.